the doors. You need to go back to the village. You can't be here.
Coin. I sold yams in the sun for weeks. I lied so I could surprise you. And this is what I find.
Stop, Sabina. She's my wife. I married you so you could take care of my mother.
Sabina discovered the truth the day her world cracked open. She had been married to Owen for 2 years. The very morning after their traditional wedding, Owen left the village for the city, promising to find work and build a better life for them. At first, he kept his word. Money arrived every month without fail. He visited twice a month, her holding Sabina at night and speaking of the future as though it were already secure. Then slowly, things changed. The money came late, sometimes not at all. When Sabina complained, Owen sighed heavily, blaming the city, the economy, his job. His visits stopped, his calls became rare. Once a month if she was lucky, twice if God was kind. Sabina was too busy to argue. Owen's mother was sick and bedridden. His younger sisters needed feeding, bathing, cleaning. Sabina became a wife, a nurse, a maid, and a provider overnight. From dawn to nightfall, she worked without rest. Still, at night, when the house was quiet, questions crept into her heart. What is he doing in the city? Why can't I reach him? June arrived, the month of their anniversary. Sabina sold yams on the roadside for weeks, hiding the money beneath her clothes. She dreamed of surprising her husband, of reminding him of the woman he left behind. On the morning she planned to travel, she dressed carefully and packed lunch boxes filled with Owen's favorite food. "I'm going to visit my mother," she lied, smiling. She didn't want anyone ruining the surprise. The journey to the city was long. When she finally gave the taxi driver Owen's address, her heart raced with excitement. The car stopped before a massive gate. Sabina froze. The house was enormous, tall walls, clean white paint, security cameras blinking silently. Yet this was the same man who complained of hardship, who said the city was swallowing him whole. Balancing her bags and food containers, she pressed the button on the gate. "Hello, how may I help you?" A female voice spoke through the speaker. Sabina's smile faded. She assumed it was a maid. Of course, no man lived in such a house alone. "I'm Sabina, Owen's wife," she said softly. Silence. Sabina shifted from one foot to the other, confused. "Hello?" she called again. The gate slid open. Relief washed over her as she hurried inside, her heart pounding with anticipation. She raised her hand to knock when the door suddenly burst open. A beautiful woman stood there. She was holding a baby on her hip, her stomach heavy with another child. Her nails were painted red. Her lips were red. Her smile was calm, confident, unafraid. The world tilted. "I'm Sandra," the woman said pleasantly. "Owen's wife." Sabina's bag slipped from her hands. The lunch boxes fell, lids popping open as food scattered across the polished floor. "Your wife?" Sabina whispered, her voice shaking. Sandra looked her up and down slowly, then smiled again. "Yes, legally." At that moment, Owen appeared behind her, his face drained of color. The lies, the excuses, the months of silence, all of it stood naked between them. Sabina finally understood. While she cleaned his mother's wounds and fed his sisters from empty pots, Owen lived in luxury. While she slept on a mat and prayed for his safety, he built a life with another woman, children, comfort, papers to prove it all. Sabina laughed softly, the sound broken and hollow. "So this," she said, wiping her tears, "is the work that kept you so busy." Owen swallowed hard. His eyes avoided hers, as though shame itself burned too brightly to face. "You shouldn't have come here, Sabina." The words hit harder than a slap. She looked down at her dusty shoes, at the cracked handles of her bags, at the spilled food she had prepared with so much love. Hurt wrapped itself around her chest, tight and suffocating. Of all the things he could have said, "Sorry, forgive me, let me explain," this was what he chose. You need to go back to the village, Owen continued, his voice firm now, almost irritated. You can't be here. He turned to Sandra, panic flickering across his face. Are you okay? Sandra nodded slowly, holding her baby closer. Her eyes never left Sabina, not with hatred, but with caution, like someone protecting what was already hers. Sabina's knees weakened. Go back, she whispered, her voice breaking. Where should I go, Owen? Tears streamed freely now. I used everything I had to come here, every coin. I sold yams in the sun for weeks. I lied so I could surprise you, and this is what I find? Owen said nothing. The silence was cruel. She looked around the grand house once more, the tiled floors, the shining walls, the life she never knew existed. So I am nothing here, she said quietly. Not your wife, not your past, not even your shame. Owen's jaw tightened. Before he could respond, a deep voice broke the tension. That's enough. A bulky man stepped forward from the corner of the room. Sabina hadn't even noticed him before. He was tall, broad-shouldered, his face stern, but his eyes kind. Owen, it's late, the man said calmly. You can't throw her out like this. Owen turned sharply. This is none of your business. The man didn't flinch. It became my business the moment I watched you destroy someone who stood at your gate with food and hope. He turned to Sabina, softening his tone. She can stay at my place tonight, just till morning. Sandra hesitated, then nodded slowly, as though the fight had already drained her. Sabina stood frozen, torn between pride and desperation. She had nowhere else to go. Finally, she picked up her torn bag and straightened her back. She did not look at Owen again. Not once. As she walked past him, she said quietly, I buried my youth in your family's house. I fed your blood with my hands. Tonight, you have buried yourself in my heart. Owen said nothing. The door closed behind her, and for the first time in years, Sabina walked into the night not as someone's wife, but as a woman whose pain had finally opened her eyes.